Hello and welcome to the presentation of the Toolbox. My name is Uwe and will on behalf of myself and my partner Jamil like to show you the Toolbox and why we think it's interesting to the urban design field. Projects are usually only illustrated in 2D such as plans, section, drawings and pictures. If 3D is used, it is normally in the end of a project showing the final design. In many cases 3D models, both physical and digital, are easier to understand because we are used to a three-dimensional world. Seeing a thing in 2D is not how we relate to our surroundings. What we find interesting and question is, why is 3D not used in the design phase where you need to understand the spaces you create? We believe it's possible. Therefore we looked into the possibility to take something that was easily accessible, quick to sketch by, and turn it into a tool for the field of urban design. To do so, we have chosen the 3D digital sketching program Google SketchUp, which can be downloaded for free via the internet. As the name suggests, it is a program made for sketching digital in 3D. This is easy enough when you are dealing with one house or limited number of objects. But what happens when you as an urban designer need to look at an entire city or a city area? Here the focus would be to create and secure spaces that contain quality of urban character. Designing every single house in such a project will never be rentable in time or money. This kind of problem doesn't mean that 3D programs aren't interesting for urban designers, it just means that we need to look at the features of the program and reshape them to fulfill our needs. Therefore, we also state that the Toolbox is a tool which are to be found in between the more abstract 2D drawings and realistic 3D renderings. The reason we call it the Toolbox is because that is what we think of it. Just as a real toolbox, we put different elements and tools inside it according to the project. The idea behind the Toolbox is to create a 3D digital sketching tool that allows us to test and compare different designs. Another goal is to keep it as simple as possible so you don't have to be a super user to use the program. This means that we have to limit the use of tools inside SketchUp to what is necessary. The following diagram shows this concept. First, we create the project site in 3D. Secondly, we create a library of 3D digital urban elements. When the setup is finished, we begin designing with the elements. Afterwards, we look at the design, analyze it, and come up with new ideas. Then we return to the model and library, where we replace the old elements with new ones instantly. The Toolbox needs to handle three basic elements in order to work like this. Creating our own library is a needed feature. This is where we can pre-make elements to use for specific design tasks. These pre-made elements have to be flexible, meaning that we should have the possibility to replace one element with another in its exact same position instantly. This gives us the advantage of reusing elements inside the model instead of redrawing a new design from the beginning every time. We need to be able to work in layers, so we have the possibility to turn on and off different elements within the same file. This function is a crucial feature if we are to control what is showing on the screen. One thing to say is that you need to be organized working with the Toolbox. This is also where the layer function is of great help. The Toolbox needs to be able to handle multiple designs within the same model to make it easier to compare one with another. The built-in function Scene Control is a perfect tool for this. The function allows us to save specific views and layers, thereby giving us the possibility to switch between different designs. This is why it is important to be organized. Having everything in different layers, we can control what is showing in the specific viewports. But before the Toolbox can work, it needs to be set up by the designer. The designer is who decide what goes inside the Toolbox and what is left out. To give you an example of this, I'd like to show you a Toolbox made for a new urban area in Greenland called Akia. Akia is an almost empty site with some few new houses and some road. Since it was an empty site, we had very few landmarks. To make sure people would recognize the place, we decided to use two elements as landmarks, the landscape and the bridge. The first landmark, the landscape, we decided was the most important element to detail in the model. The people may not have been used to use the area, but they have looked at it all their life. Making sure they could identify the terrain would help them to easier accept the model. The reason that the landscape model consists of several pieces serves two purposes. First, by splitting it up, we can obtain a higher level of detail, even though the level curves has been modified and simplified. Second, we can turn pieces off that we don't work on and thereby making the model lighter to work on. The second landmark was the bridge, which was an element everybody knew. We also chose to indicate the water, the bay and horizon to give it a context. This was the basic setup. What we wanted to show and discuss with them was the two suggestions they had made, both drawn and written. The big difference between the two suggestions were the amount of dwelling in each of them. The focus was to see if the toolbox would add something new to the discussion of the development of the place. Therefore, a library of dwellings based on Greenlandic houses were made, as were the row. With this we made two scenarios that we could easily switch between, showing the difference between the drawn and the written plan. This setup was enough to get a spatial understanding for both proposals. There were no need to make any extra detail, because the focus in this case was to obtain a spatial understanding of the place. Another project would have required a different setup. This was how to set up the toolbox. Now we'll be looking at some more specific features of where the toolbox can be of assistance. First, we look at it as a tool to test and analyze ideas. Secondly, how it can communicate ideas in a 3D environment. Having a 3D digital model of a project gives us the possibility to look at it from all angles in real time. This means that we can shift from a helicopter view to actually positioning ourselves inside the model, going from a big scale to a small scale and back again, an important feature to maintain in the urban design field. Another powerful tool is the ability to compare different designs easily. To demonstrate this, I will use our model from Akia, where the scene and layer control were used to show the two scenarios made there. As you can see, the scene and layer control makes it easy to see the changes. A useful thing to use a 3D digital model for in the earlier stage of a project is to test how shadow falls, especially in a place like Akia, where there sometimes is sun 24 hours a day due to the midnight sun. Introducing 3D model in an earlier stage can help minimize the danger of ending up shadowing for buildings and outdoor spaces. How to experience the space. Compared to physical models which have certain limitations, here we have the possibility to position ourselves inside the model. This can be useful if we want to test how visible a context will be in a certain point, or what we would expect to see or experience in a specific point. Positioning the camera inside the model helps us to gain a better understanding of the place, scale and what would be visible. Rearranging the building might create a better space or hide elements in the back. This was the toolbox as a design, testing, analytical tool. Now I'd like to turn the focus to the communication part of the toolbox. The toolbox uses simplification as a filter to put in or leave out details. Controlling the amount of details in a model makes it an excellent tool to communicate ideas. In the toolbox we can work in different styles, which each shows different things. Using them active and from the beginning, we can turn on and off information in our design. The three styles that we believe is most relevant to the urban design field are the monochrome style, color style and texture style. To illustrate this, I will use our model from Sisimiut. All the building made for the Akia project was built and given a texture from some of the existing houses in the town. The texture or image of a facade was blurred so they didn't appear as a one-to-one of the real house. By doing so we kept information such as colors, windows and doors. During our presentation we could demonstrate how we were able to control the topic of the discussion by using these styles. Let's take a look at it. Here we are, placed inside the model, looking at one of the new areas that are about to be built in Akia. We start with the monochrome style. This style really underlines the sketching part of the program. The model appears naked and neutral because it only holds a limited amount of information. Instead, the focus is on the building, the volume, height and the interaction with each other and the nature behind. In the color style we are adding more information to the picture. The colors suddenly become a dominating subject in the model. This is useful if we want to discuss how a specific area should appear from the outside. The last style is the texture style. As you can see, this again adds more information to the picture. The three different styles each hold different information about the design. Our job as designers are then to figure out what is the important elements that need attention. We argue that a 3D digital model helps communicate ideas better because they are easier to understand than two-dimensional representation. But there's also a danger of using digital models because they will never represent the reality one-to-one. Especially heights and perspectives can be misleading in a 3D model. Therefore we have worked with some initiative that helps to reduce these flaws, as some may call them. Looking at and understanding buildings can be difficult if there is nothing to refer them to. All buildings in the toolbox are built by floors of 3 meters. This rule has been applied to all buildings so there exists a proportion between them. This means that in every style we are working in, all buildings have an indication for every third meter. Another element that we have worked with as a direct answer to better understanding heights is using people as a reference. Usually we are using the body when we relate to scale such as height and length. Therefore we made a library of people. Placing these next to buildings helps understand the scale of them. Simplification has again been used here. The purpose of the people is to help understand the scale of spaces in the model. Therefore the people are kept in black silhouettes. Besides being able to change styles and read the spaces and buildings more correctly, another great benefit of a 3D digital model is that we can move around inside it, positioning ourselves wherever we want to. The screen and mouse function as an extension of our eyes and body. Turning the mouse, we see something new, just as we would in the real world. People then have a chance to walk around discovering things even before they are built. This helped catching mistakes in the design in an earlier stage where it's easier to correct them. This was the presentation of the toolbox, giving you an idea of what it is and why we believe it's an important tool to have in the urban design field. It's not about how good you are to sketch your idea, it's about being able to tell people the right story with your design.